Okay, hi everyone, it's Tara. It is 7 days later after trying to grow rock candy. And I have a feeling that I'm going to be showing you an example of a fail. So, we've got our jars here. They've been in the cupboard for 7 days. I have totally ignored them. And I don't think it's going to have worked out. So we'll switch camera angles and we'll see. Okay, so we are back. Now, one of the reasons why I think this may not have worked is because it seems fairly solid. But you never know, maybe hiding in there is rock candy, maybe. We will see, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so everything I've read says that it will often form a crystal thing on top, so use a knife and kind of break it up a little bit. Seems pretty solid. It doesn't feel like just on top. There's some liquid on top, but okay. No, this is a solid mass. Okay, that went in. Okay. Let's just, okay. I would say no rock candy. Just a mess of liquid. Nothing's really grown on there. Okay, let's see if the blue worked better. Maybe just... Once again, feels pretty solid all the way around and all the way down. And okay. So once again, that one did not work. So this is just a lump of sugar out at the edges. It's fairly solid. Well, I am managing to break it up. Okay, so what do you guys think went wrong with this experiment? Let's go back to the start. When I did this, the first step was getting the sugar to a fully liquid form, no crystallization happening. Needed to be clear. We got it clear, but when we left it for that 30 minutes to cool a little bit before we put it in the jars, it had started to crystallize in the pot. So I think that we maybe didn't heat it up long enough because it was already crystallizing at that point. So I think at that point what I should have done is probably put the pot back on the stove and heated it up again and tried to get it further along, making sure that there were no crystals forming. That is my guess. Now, because it definitely, it became a solid, stuff became solid. So I think we've got enough sugar in there because that's when I've looked up what can go wrong with the experiment. It's that there wasn't enough sugar in it. And I think because it became a solid mass, we definitely have enough sugar in it. Though I could be wrong. I am not a crystal growing expert. This is my first time ever trying to do this. So I could be wrong on that. We added flavor to it. Did the flavor do something? Now it said we could add flavor, but it didn't tell us how much flavor to put in. But I don't think it was the flavor. I think it's right from the start when we got it clear that it maybe needed to be on the heat just a little bit longer to make sure that it didn't crystallize. That is my guess. Yeah, look. It's kind of a solid mass of sugary stuff in here. So does that count as crystallized in there? Maybe, but it didn't grow it on the stick the way we wanted. Now, one thing that some of the instructions say is check it after 24 hours to see if your crystals are growing. I didn't do that. I honestly kind of totally forgot that I'd put the experiment in the cupboard. Oh, another possibility is it said to put it away in a cupboard so that it was, out of direct sunlight. And it did also mention putting it in a cooler place. However, I realized the cupboard I put it in actually gets fairly hot in the summertime. So did that have an effect on it? Instead of me putting it in, say, the cupboard behind me that's kind of in the middle of the house, I put it in a cupboard right up against the outside wall of the house. And I know that it heats up pretty good in there. So did that have an effect? I don't know. Once again, I don't have a science degree. That's not the degree I have. So I'm not sure. Now it said if after 24 hours crystals weren't growing, you could put the solution back in a pot and heat it up and add more sugar if crystals weren't growing. But I don't think that's the problem because I think crystals were growing so fast. Do we have too much sugar? Or is it just that we didn't boil it enough? I am not sure. I am not sure if with it at this stage, if I put it back in a pot and tried to boil it and get it liquidy again, if it would work. I'm also wondering if I put too much food coloring in to be able to see clearly the progress of what's happening. So maybe if you do yours, try it with maybe a little less food coloring so that you can see your crystals growing, if they do in fact grow. Now that I've done the experiment, I've been looking up because it didn't look, I couldn't see anything. It looked like a solid mass. It wasn't moving around. So I looked up what things could go wrong, and it sounds like this experiment can go wrong a lot of the time. So if you do this experiment and it doesn't go right the first time, that sounds like it's not beyond the realm of possibility. It sounds like it could happen. So don't be too disheartened because it happens. And it seems to happen a lot. I didn't read any of that before I decided to start this experiment. Everything I read sounded like it was super easy. It's maybe not as easy as I had hoped. So, okay, so we were interrupted by a phone call, but I'm back. I've actually taken most of the solution out of this because I really want to see if I can make it. So I've put this back in a pot. I am going to heat it up again, see if I can get it clear. I'm going to obviously wash this out because with that much sugar on the walls of it, it's gonna start forming crystals on the wall. So this needs to be totally clean again before I pour stuff in. Another thing I read on the internet with things going wrong, one of them said that you should actually put some hot water in this and kind of swirl it around and then dump it out so that you've already heated up the jar as well. You don't want to be putting the solution into a cold jar. Didn't say anything on that in the stuff that I read originally. I will also clean off my stick because I only have these, well, I probably have more popsicle sticks, but I only have this stick. I did chop off the end, so it wasn't as long. So I'll clean this off, I'll wet it again, roll it in sugar again to seed it so that the crystals will hopefully grow, and I will let you know the results if it can be remelted and redone, and if we can get different results. It might be another failed experiment, but that's part of experimenting, is seeing, you know, seeing what happens and making mistakes and then trying to figure out what went wrong and seeing if you can correct the mistakes. Now, you might not want to redo this one if it doesn't work for you, but I'm curious. I just want to see if I can make the crystals grow. I really want to see the crystals grow. So I'm gonna give this another try. I don't know that I'm gonna do up both of them, but obviously I'm gonna play with the one and see if I can get some rock candy on my stick growing. So we'll see you again and see if in another 7 days or so I can get rock candy this time. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. This did not work, reheating it. So I got it to the point where I thought it was all liquid, and I turned around and started heating the jar up, and then it crystallized right in the pan. So I thought, okay, I didn't get it heated up enough. So I put it back on and started heating it, and this is what happened. We've turned it back into sugar, no water. It smells lovely because I flavored it strawberry, but it's not a liquid anymore. It's become a solid, and I've got to keep moving it around because sugar can burn really easily, and this is now just, this is sugar. There's no liquid in here whatsoever. So I don't think it can be reheated and redone, because this is what happened. So, yeah, but I've got flavored sugar right now, which, yeah, I have no idea. So I wish you the very best of luck with your experiment, and I hope that you have better results than I did. I would really love to see it. If you try this experiment and you get rock candy crystals growing on your stick, I would really love to see pictures of it, because I still obviously have not managed to successfully make rock candy. I apparently made flavored sugar. So Best of luck to everybody. I hope it goes well for you. Bye for now.